May the fourth be with you is the big one for me, so then
Oh.
I will see it.
I see. Happy belated May the fourth be with you.
Or anything, and they can take it out of there.
May the fourth be with your single mile.
There you go. You probably need that.
Just technically, may the fourth be with your best.
There you go. Sums it up quickly.
Forget what movies are called, it's like a middle combat or something like that. Scale gives her big speech, it was a defining moment of her life in this guy, overtook her village and stuff like that, and it was, yeah, to you, it was a defining moment of your life, to me, it was a little choosier.
Is it a movie?
I don't know if I've seen that movie.
Wasn't, is it out of theater, that, we see it at Cinemaflix, or, that's in theaters now, right?
Well, this is,
Or is this an old?
Like
this
an
is
one?
older
old-
one.
This is like 20 years ago,
There's, I know there's one in theaters now, I thought.
when Claude Van Damme was
Oh.
very popular, so late nineties.
Was he ever very popular?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Jean, Jean Von.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
The muscles from Brussels.
Muscles from Brussels.
I don't remember that.
Well, it's from Brussels, so, was it Belgium, Mary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hence the name Van Damme. I don't know if that's his actual name or if that's his stage name.
Probably a stage name. His name was probably like Peter Anderson or something.
Peter St. Peter.
So they go, "Oh, that's not gonna work for this. We gotta something else that we can rhyme stuff with."
Having a last name that's a curse word. yeah, that's better.
Taken down.
Probably not gonna go very well.
My first name rhymes with third of the English language, so. Interesting. Rhymes keep cooking.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call the Wednesday, May 5th, 2021 Mercer County Commission meeting to order. We have the agenda in front of us. Any questions, additions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I do have some. I'd like to add treasurer's report, and I'd like to have that added first meeting of every month, automatically put on there.
Could we have that just as an an
I'm
item?
Just
We
as
don't
a
need it in the
handout?
budget, do we?
No,
Or I mean, we don't need it on the agenda, do we?
should be underneath. Yeah, it should be, why wouldn't we have it on the agenda? I was curious.
Well, we never make any, motions on, there's no, we don't move on it at all, it's just information. So we could just have it as part of the packet, information packet.
I guess I prefer to, well, I want it on the agenda for the day, please. I want her to come in and give a report.
Anything else?
I'd like to have a brief review of the NADACO budget class. And I have a handout to give you guys.
DACO?
NADACO, North Dakota Association of Counties. And another item is, I want to review the county road expenses to date. And that's actually going to be covered a little bit when we talk about the motor grade purchase. So I'm not sure that you need to have that there. You can cross that off. But I do want, Shannon, please, on next month's agenda, the next meeting's agenda, I want county road expenses to date put on there, please.
Why do we need the county road expenses on, the agenda?
Not for today, for next week, next meeting. I wanna go over, part of our responsibility as commissioners and portfolio holders is to go over the budgets that we have with our portfolio people. And I wanna review what we have to date what, we're looking for possibly for next year's budget. And I need your guys' assistance on that. So that's why I want it on next meeting's agenda. So that, I'm sorry, it shouldn't be on this discussion for today, except for the put it on.
Okay, 5 treasurers report, 6 in North Dakota Association of Counties, 7 portfolio updates. Any other?
I would like to have also an audit update, just a statement from our auditor where we're at on, where we are getting our state audit.
Our state audit.
Yeah, we're getting a state audit for years 2019 and 2020, and we made a motion to have them do it, and just want to know where we're at in that process. That's all I have, sir.
Okay, 5 treasurers report, 6 North Dakota Association of Counties, 7 state audit, 8 portfolio updates. Anything else? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended, please.
I have a second.
I'll second that.
Any other? Oh, not a lot of discussion. Marvin?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Hi.
Wayne?
Aye.
Jean, aye. Okay.
In fairness to everybody here and our auditor, she has asked me to try to have this in by Friday. I did not do it this week, and I apologize for that. Otherwise, she probably would have had this all listed already. Just want to make that statement. She wants it Friday prior to sending this out.
Okay. Oh, minutes, sorry, I was on to bills already. Okay, minutes of the last meeting, the April 21st meeting and the April 23rd meeting. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to make a correction.
What's the correction?
We're on the second page 205, down on the bottom, it says Schwer gave a treasurer's report. It doesn't say what the report was.
Which one?
Page 205, down here towards the bottom, it says Schwer made a motion, a treasurer's report. Look at that here. April.
Oh, right here, Schwer gave a
Yeah,
treasurer's
it's right in
report.
front of us. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, for you guys' consideration, I wanna make a motion that this correction be added. He demonstrated, without COVID monies, we would have a deficit of $108,788. At the end of March,
Why has that gotta be in there?
to inform the public. I gave a report, and that's how we inform the public, and I want a record that it's on, that it's been stated and been presented to the board. If later on,
The minutes just need to have, items that are basically, in fact, to me, there's more items in the minutes than need to be. It just needs to be motions and what was carried, not,
that is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
but,
That is the minimum required, absolutely. As board members, if we want to inform the public and have on record what was discussed, we can have additional information put in there. I am requesting that. And it's just as a board member so that we notify the public.
okay, what was it?
I move that right after Schwer gave a treasury report, this statement be added. He demonstrated, without COVID monies, we would have a deficit of $108,788 at the end of March. I gave a report. I want him to tell them what the report was. It's just real simple information.
Okay, anything out, any other,
I guess I made a motion. I need a second for that.
do I have a second to that?
I'll second that.
Any other, corrections or additions? Hearing none, oh, wait a minute, I gotta write down who, sorry.
You're good. We're good.
Okay, Marvin, Travis, Any? Okay, I need a approval on the,
Marv to vote. Who's gonna vote? You gotta
What's
vote
that?
on- You gotta, Marv, how do you vote?
yeah, Marv, how do you vote?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Nay.
Wayne?
I'll vote aye.
Gene will vote aye. Okay. That was on both minutes.
No, that was on April
Just
21st
on the
meeting.
amended.
Okay, I did, was that the motion for the April 21st?
We need a motion now to approve it with this addition. As amended. We need a motion to
Yep.
approve the April 21st minutes as amended.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the April 21st minutes as amended.
Second?
I'll second that.
Marvin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Nay.
Wayne?
Aye.
Gene will vote aye. April 23rd minutes. Any corrections, additions? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the special meeting minutes as presented.
A second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Wayne?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Gene, aye. Okay, now the bills. Ooh, I got lost on that one. Sorry. Same as before. You got a question, hold the bill. I'll sign them as I get them. And then we'll question it at the end. Awfully quiet.
It is.
Some background noise of some sort.
Turn on the headset to play some CD music.
I sign here. Okay. You're okay.
Oh, sorry.
Advertisement. Well, them ads aren't cheap, but. newspaper people.
They're people too.
I was gonna say, you should get, your salary should reflect what the charges are, huh? No comment.
Every week you're trying to get him in trouble on this recording.
Trying. I'll get him to bite one of these days.
You're not on trial, but you can still plead the fifth.
He'll sit.
Customer heard loud bang, then the machine quit.
Yep.
That's probably not
Just
good.
bang.
It's language I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's messed up our tiles.
I hear that's bad, that's all right. You can explain it to Shannon. It started,
Yeah, that'll go well.
started out good.
Yep. Right to the point.
Haven't had any fires in the county, have we? Getting awfully close, though.
You know, the other morning I got up, a few mornings ago, it was foggy, but I went outside and I could smell smoke. It was east of Zap, west of Zap. I don't know where it was coming from, but, and the wind, that's that morning you got up, it had that hot wind.
It's gonna fire up in Mandaree.
That's an uncomfortable feeling when you feel a hot wind early in May. I mean,
Thought we had one out to the west. No, no, wrong place. Been driving all over the place, so there was one up on, north of the lake, up by, Carpio, I think is the name of the town.
Handcuffs are only 26
just a
bucks.
curiosity question,
Those are light ones, actually.
And what's a custom printed DVD? The label is on the DVD or what?
You get nice ones, they're way more.
Oh,
The film tools is general fund.
What department?
that'd be legal, it's got Michelle Reiner's name on it.
State's
Yeah.
attorney. Oh, yeah. You probably can't ask.
Okay,
Moving on.
Might be,
I haven't ever heard that before.
I'm just kidding. Cause I seen state's attorney, so it's probably.
Glock Professional, that's it. Are there any hunters in this room?
Now and then.
Yeah?
Any what?
Hunters.
Oh, what are we
I saw that
hunting?
Glock reminded me of something.
Oh,
Totally
Not with a
unrelated
Glock.
question. What's
I would
that?
hope you're not hunting with a Glock.
Yes, I don't own one of those.
Do I put some lead in the air occasionally? Yes.
I got, it just brought up a point, something we can talk, I guess, but I got drawn for an elk hunt once in a lifetime, okay? So I'm looking for the proper ammunition.
Ooh, good luck.
You know where I'm going with that, right, Liza?
Yep.
Yeah.
What ammunition?
What do you,
Yep.
what are you using?
You should
I
have ordered
use
that
a
last
7
year.
and I generally shoot 140 grain because it's only for deer.
7 millimeter?
Yep, so I don't have, I wanted 160 grain. I don't have them.
I don't have
How
that.
much is it worth to you?
Yeah. I got that a lot.
400%, yeah.
Yeah.
Markup?
Well, it's real close to $3 or three, depending on the brand that you buy, but it's very expensive. I did finally find some.
Then you gotta sight it in.
I was gonna say, then you gotta hope you're a really good shot, or,
Or we just lob one out
yep. Close
and
enough.
let the elk run into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had some plywood and I got a text from work, hey, can we use your plywood? What's it worth to you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
possibly. What kind of deal are we talking about?
I said, when I bought that. It was X, now it's worth this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably close for them too, right? They don't have to go to Bismarck to get it.
Right.
Travis, you mentioned that, what's the price? One guy had some advertised in Mandan, I was down there doing some other stuff, I looked at it. He must have bought it in the 50s. I mean, the boxes, you couldn't even read the writing on them, so faded already. And he wanted the new price on that, Well, I don't think you spent 30 cents a shell, and now you want $3.
Yeah, who knows if it's so
Yeah,
good.
that's real
Yeah,
common.
so you'll get it.
Okay, what do we got going here?
Big package,
Yeah, but I've got like about 4 of them. But you staple them all together.
Well,
Just gonna staple the whole pack together.
It started good on this end, I don't know how it ends up over there.
Well, this Napa one, there's actually 4 of them and they're all stapled together.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, how can that be?
Drives. Okay. You can't choose.
Yeah.
So when the county goes to other municipalities for the tax equalization, does that get billed to the cities then, or is that absorbed?
What do you mean? They don't get paid extra to go.
No, I'm not saying pay, but like Jen had the mileage to Pick City for tax
Oh, yeah.
equalization. Does that get billed to the city, or is that just county?
It's part of her county budget.
not just anti-spoilers, super
No.
anti-spoiler. I get that gives you another sale then, right?
Right. New and improved, well, is it new or is it improved?
When I was employed at a company card, and twice my card got hacked where somebody would charge 35 cents or 38 cents or $1, right? Well, that's, they just have these computers running random numbers and one clicks, they charge it, right? See if they can do it again. Well, this last 2 weeks, I can't remember where I was, and they said your card won't work. I said, yeah, it does. He said, I just checked it this morning, I said, I didn't know what's in there. What? Oh, it was a travel agency. Somebody had charged $1 to a television network, like Amazon or Netflix. I wasn't subscribed to it, so it's called Hulu.
Yeah.
Never heard of it before. I said, well, we stopped your card because the card company stopped it, Visa stopped it. They said, that's typical fraud. I mean, somebody's used your card. I said, did you make that charge? I called them right away. I just stopped right there, picked up my phone, I said, what's going on? I said, no, I'm fine with that, you stopped the card, I don't need to buy today.
Yeah, I had, this was a few years ago, my Menards card. I was expecting like $20-some on it, and my bill was almost $3,000. I'm like, whoa. And I look at it, and in a 4-day stretch, somebody had been going to holiday gas stations in Michigan and Ohio. Somehow
That's funny.
$100 here, $100 there, and they're like, well, how do we know these are fraudulent charges? A, I haven't left town, B, I've never been in those 2 states.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had a family member that card got canceled. Well, they just called and said cards. They were over-the-counter charges. Those are the good ones because all you gotta do is let your credit card company know, or they call you and they say, yeah, it's impossible. So I had that happen to me. It was like 2 sales within a few minutes, one in Dallas, one in New York. Okay, are we done here? All right, any questions on the bills? Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Wayne, how do you vote?
I'll vote aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Gene, aye. Okay, budget calendar.
Great, is that for me or guys? I have in your packet a budget calendar, how,
Tentative dates? Okay. Any questions, discussion?
Just verify the dates that we can make it.
That's June 1st, July 6th,
Ooh.
July 21st. 21st could be a possible issue for me, but cover that down the road.
it's a commission meeting,
Which
Yeah,
day was that?
I actually have court trial that week.
that week you do.
Yeah,
Okay, the July 21st one.
I do, yeah.
So we could possibly, well, we have to, if we have to move that commission meeting, we're gonna need to notice the paper.
Yeah.
You know, so we could possibly, I suppose, move it to the following week,
The-
28th.
The reviewing of the budgets, move it to the 28th.
Or 26th, or whatever we think we need for time, but you're not gonna know until we get all our requests in and we get it compiled for how many questions you're gonna have and things like that anyway, so. My vision here is after I get month end completed, I'm hoping it'll be on June 1st. Then I'll get my reports to my department heads, and they'll have until July 6th to get it back to me. and the 6th is a Tuesday, and we have a meeting on July 7th. I plan on busting tail and getting that all compiled, so I can actually hand you the budget, the preliminary budget, on July 7th at the meeting, so that you have a couple of weeks to review each department, and if there are questions, contact the department heads and so forth. So that is my goal for that day, is to get everybody's in by July 6th and then be able to compile it. And I actually don't enter the department heads into our budget system. I just make copies of what they submit to
Present
me,
it to
because
you?
a lot of times my department heads will, you know, if they have this number in here for this line, down below, they're gonna explain to you why they're asking for that dollar amount. So I want you to be able to see their notes. But I'll have the rest of the county budget compiled into that format by July 7th for handout at that meeting. So, and then whatever you wanna review with the department heads, and then we'll need to approve the preliminary budget by August 4th. We have no later than August 10th to do so.
August 4th is a regular commission meeting.
Yep, August 10th, we cannot approve any preliminary after that, because at that point, after we approve the preliminary budget, I need to work mill levies, and that gives me until August 20th to do that, to get them to the treasurer, because she sends out the estimated tax statements by law then by August 31st. I've set the formal hearing on September 15th. The budget does not have to be approved that day. It's best, it's easy if it is, easier if it is, but you have until October 10th then to approve, this year you need to approve the final budget.
Okay, so the July 21st date is so far one of them that we should change.
Well,
Are
I
you
know
gonna
I
trial
can't
that
be here.
whole week?
I have no day when I'm, no clue as to when I'm gonna be called, and it's in Dickey County in Ellendale, so.
Okay.
Well, the 21st
Liza?
probably won't work for me.
Liza, are you thinking the 28th you might be available? If we
Yeah,
want- if we
yeah,
want
it's
to-
just that whole week I have to have blocked off.
But the
because I-
28th will be a court day, won't it, Liza?
Right, well, wait,
Should we do like the 27th, a
Second or fourth.
Tuesday? Yeah, because that's the 4th.
yeah, could be a court day, yeah.
Should we set it for the 27th?
27th works for me.
That's a Tuesday?
Yep.
Tuesday, that would work for me, I don't know about you.
I don't think I have a problem with that, so.
So we're gonna change the regular meeting to the 27th?
Yep,
No, this
well, we,
review of the budgets with department heads is needed.
But Shen's got a point, she had another point
if
there.
you guys can't make it to the regular meeting on the 21st, should we just hold everything on the 27th? Cancel the 21st meeting, move it, not cancel it, move it?
We would have 3 meetings if we don't move it. If we can do all of it at once on the 27th, we wouldn't be violating anything.
No, and if we for sure have 2 gone and Travis ends up being out of town for work or something, you're not gonna have a quorum anyway on the 21st.
Right.
So that's why I thought we'd have our regular meeting change the regular meeting to the 21st.
27th, right?
27th,
Okay.
and do that.
Yeah, and just so you know, the September 15th too, I have mandatory training in Camp Grafton that week.
Okay.
That is also the regular commission meeting, okay.
Mhm.
We can move it to September 1st. But that doesn't give much time to.
Which one are we talking about again? Is it the-
September 15th
15th now.
meeting.
The September 7th, that says the earliest for local, that's cities, but we can be before that?
That's the earliest date any of us can hold our budget hearing.
Okay, so we couldn't do it on the first?
So we can't do it the first then?
Yeah.
Can we do it?
It has to be after the 7th sometime.
That'd be court.
Well, I guess we could do it at the October 6th meeting.
It's really getting tight though, if something
Well,
comes up.
it's the formal hearing, so you're pretty much ready to approve your budget by that time anyway. There's not, very rarely are there changes made from the formal hearing into the final budget. I mean, that gives you a whole month then to work through the
Oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking October seventh.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're saying October seventh?
October
For the
sixth.
formal hearing. Yeah, October sixth, this commission meeting. Why can't we do it that day?
Cause it's due the 8th, right,
Yeah,
to the state,
yeah.
so if there was any changes, you'd have a day and a half, basically.
It gets kinda tight.
I
If-
don't feel it is because you're approving your preliminary on August fourth. That gives you 2 months to work through the budget. There shouldn't be any need to work through a budget for 2 months from preliminary to final.
September 15. Well, just for consideration, I'm not disagreeing with Shannon one single bit, but just for consideration, how about September 29th?
Is
They were
that court
calling
day
us-
again?
Yep, and we're calling a special meeting and we have mileage and we have time and,
When it's just a week away, you mean, Shanna?
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's not.
Well, we could play it somewhat by ear if we need to, if the budget process is
Getting-
cumbersome and we're getting behind, we'll just have to catch up and have a special meeting whenever it works for the individuals. At this time, it's just a little tough to know, but,
I think we should go with October sixth. Because we don't know, to start scheduling special meetings now, we don't know how many, if we're gonna need some in the meantime. It gets to be,
Well,
An
October's quite a
expense.
ways out.
it's 2 months, I don't think that we can't figure out a budget from preliminary to final in 2 months.
Any objections to October sixth? Okay, so on our budget calendar, we're gonna change July 21st to the 27th, and that's gonna be our regular commission meeting then, is July 27th.
And I'll need a motion to that effect too,
Yeah.
just to change the regular commission meeting.
We should probably change the regular commission meeting before we approve the budget calendar.
That works.
So, hearing none, or, do I have a motion to move the July 21st regular commission meeting to July 27th?
I so move.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Marvin,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Travis,
Aye.
Wayne,
how about I,
Jean, aye. Okay, on our budget calendar then, review the budgets and with departments heads as needed will be July 27th. And the Mercer County formal hearing on budget at 10:30 will be set for October 6th. All the rest of the dates as printed. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the budget calendar as amended.
I have a second?
I'll
Sec-
second.
That's good.
Any other further discussion? Hearing none, Travis,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Wayne,
all right,
Jean, aye. Okay, we got through that one, not too much. 9:37. 2022 salaries.
All right, I'm just looking for, some guidance from the board as to what we're looking for salary increases for 2022. Marvin and Wayne know that during budget time, I put a spreadsheet together and the board usually gives me 3 options or suggests 3 options and I go in and put them all in with everybody, so at the bottom you can see exactly how much it's gonna cost the county to get that type of salary increase. Last year, we did 50 cents. The year before, I don't believe we gave a raise, and the year before that, we gave 60 cents, so, I'm just looking, and it's nothing set in stone, this doesn't mean that the commission's giving this for a raise, it's just giving me guidance as to what you want to see calculated.
Can we do percentages instead of
Absolutely.
dollars, like,
We've tried to do that in the past. Wayne will recall that we like to give a dollar amount one year, but then we like to do a salary so that the spread between department heads and staff stays about equal instead of getting too big or too small in between, so. I just get some numbers from you guys to work with. I'm not sure, I'd like to send a memo to my department heads about what the board is kind of looking at for increases, and then in reference to what's gonna happen with health insurance. I have not heard anything about health insurance, where that's gonna go. I was trying to research the bill that it was even brought to the legislature, because usually that's a pretty hot topic, and I haven't heard one speak about it. I don't know if any of you guys have.
No, I haven't heard anything.
So I'm taking that as a good sign that it's not a huge increase, but, you know, you have to keep that in mind too. Whatever the legislature said, that's what our health insurance costs are gonna go up to, because
And I
Okay.
know Indy PERS had a bill that kind of went in, but luckily it got,
kicked out,
yep,
yeah,
yeah, that was a scary one,
yeah.
so.
What have been the typical, I'm used to seeing roughly about a 10% annual increase on my insurance. What has the annual rate for the North Dakota been?
I'm not sure, because we actually joined North Dakota PERS after the last legislative session.
Okay.
But I do believe during the last legislative session, it was 17%. I wanna say that it went up.
Well, any,
I have a question for the board members here, please. The question I'm gonna ask is that, can we postpone this? Gene gave me a description the other day, he says table is the wrong word. Can we postpone this to our next meeting? Now Shannon has to have it, because she has to send this letter out June 1st, so we have to keep track of that. So she needs our recommendation prior, at least by the end of this month. So what I'm asking you guys, can we wait till our next meeting to answer this question? And in the meantime, we can review the revenue and expense worksheets as it's been recommended through Ladaco, and possibly we'll have more information from the insurance, what the insurance costs would be. That information might help us with thinking, rather than just throwing a number out there. There's nothing wrong with putting a number out there, as Shannon says, because we can change this until the preliminary hearing. It's just an idea. But I would like you guys to consider not doing that at this meeting, but doing it at the next meeting, because it'll give us 2 weeks, each of us, to review the revenue and expense of our county, and possibly we'll have some health insurance information that will help us to make a more informed decision.
any other thoughts?
Shanna, do you think you would be able to get any health insurance information?
Well, our conference is on Monday,
Oh, okay.
so, but, as far as the salaries go, some guidance today would be nice. I feel like if we're pushing it to the last minute, then you're pushing my workload, which is already heavy, to be putting everything I mean, this takes time to go through and figure out everybody's wages differently and get total amounts. It's just a starting point. I would prefer if I could get some guidance today versus waiting, because it gives me more time to work on it. I mean, to get my stuff done. Towards the end of the month, then we're in the budget, and I got a lot of other things going on too, so.
What portion of insurance premiums do the employees pay? Is it a percentage or is it a
Yep,
set?
the employees pay 10%,
10%.
and the county pays 90%.
Okay.
So normally if it goes up, then we just split, the whole amount, we just split it still 90-10, the board hasn't changed. And that would be a policy thing too, I believe, if the board decided to change it from 90-10, because that's written in policy that way.
Mhm.
And I think you'd have to have some grandfathered in then, wouldn't
Mhm.
you? And then
Yeah.
the new employees would.
My point on that is, if we talk salary increases, I'd like them to at least maintain that they're not losing wages based on health insurance increases.
Right,
So
Mhm.
Yeah.
what that number is, I don't know.
yeah, because that's happened in the past, where the raise hasn't covered the insurance
Insurance.
increase.
Right, last year we gave a dollar amount, or,
50 cents.
yeah,
And the year
yeah.
before, we didn't do nothing, and the year before that was 60 cents
okay.
an hour.
So we'd probably be looking more of a percentage possibly this year as to dollars and cents, but yeah, it's up to the board.
At the end of this year, Shanna, what's our health insurance fund look like? What is that fund number?
It's on, oh, I guess there's not page numbers. The third page in the middle of it, it has health insurance, 2935. Looks like we paid.
I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is.
Found it?
Yep, third full page. I was looking front and back.
Oh, sorry.
I was just slower getting there. Okay. So, if we don't have any reserve at the end of the year in our health insurance,
We will have a reserve in our health insurance at the end of the year. I'm trying to think back to what we had projected it at, and I wanna say it was right around $800,000 is what we projected our ending balance in the health insurance fund.
okay, that helps.
Okay.
In our health
I
insurance,
mean, roughly, don't quote me.
exactly.
But-
I was right on approximate.
Because we had made that motion to transfer out, and we should have, without that transfer, we would have been right around 1.5 million, so.
And our total cost for the year is about 1.5 million, right?
It looks like our health insurance budget is 1.9.
So it's almost 2 million. So,
But that's,
Okay.
that's deceiving,
Okay.
because that's the county paying into there, the employees paying into there, and then
That's
us
what
paying
the-
Oh.
out of there.
That's the 10% and all that.
So that
right?
includes the employee's contribution.
I think,
Yeah.
yep, it's the
It's
employee's
all-
contribution, the county's contribution, and then the paying out of there, so.
from my memory,
It's hairy.
it's around 150,000 is what we end up actually paying out of our county budget for
So-
health insurance. We pay 750 or something, 705 or something like that from the general fund, and then from the other funds, it almost is the same number, correct?
I'm not following. From the other funds, it's almost the same number as what?
Our general fund, we pay,
It's like, yeah, it was 705 is what we had budgeted to pay
Right.
into the health insurance fund.
Okay.
So that covers
general fund.
the general fund employees' county share. It's screwed.
But it doesn't cover like the road departments.
The road department. Do we budget health insurance in your budget?
I can answer that, but we shouldn't.
I think we do.
So
So
any,
that comes out of his department budget,
right,
the county share.
It's in there.
Yeah, that's the county share. Yeah.
I guess where I was going with that is, if we know approximately how much we're gonna have at the end of the year, we know approximately how much our cost is going to be, that tells us how much we're gonna have to add to our expenses to cover the difference. So, but anyhow, Shanna wants to have a number today.
Yeah,
That's up to the board members there.
I'm not in total disagreement with Marv's suggestion. I hate throwing a number out there, cause I definitely wanna at least make the employees whole and a little more based on what the health insurance is gonna do, and not propose a salary increase, and then, and of course, we can change it, but then what does that, do to the work you've done? And then we
So
say,
wouldn't
well,
that make you do twice
it's
the
not
amount of
working.
work?
Pardon?
Probably does, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
wouldn't that
I-
make Shanna
I
have to do
figured
twice the amount of
freeze.
work if we change the
Right.
numbers and now you gotta redo it again?
Yeah,
I'd have to redo a third of it. I don't know, I just hate having, you're waiting until May 19th to give me direction, and I have to have all this out by June 1st, and it's not the only thing I have to get done by June 1st. So I hate having everything piled up. I like to get my stuff done.
Yep.
If I can get it done sooner, the better. If
We-
you guys wanna wait, that's fine.
well, I'm,
just for
I'm-
information, today I'm going to not recommend it for myself. I'm just speaking for myself.
I just,
I need another week.
I hear you, Shannon, but I'm gonna just repeat myself, I hate throwing a number out there, and then if we say, you know, any number, and, say one, whether that's a penny, a dollar, a percent, and it turns out that that doesn't cover the raise in the health insurance, and, then we're gonna say, well, we're gonna change it to a two. Whether
Well,
that,
I do figure 3 different
Got it,
raises
yeah.
in this spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's
No.
like 2%.
1%, 3%,
2,
5%.
yeah. Yeah,
So then the board can see what 1% would cost the county, what 2%, what 3%, and what 5%.
right.
Like, so,
Well,
it's
there's-
fine, we can wait, it's fine. I
we
just-
can do that, we can say, give us something on like a 1%, a 2%, a 3% raise, and we can always change those numbers, but
You just wait, it's fine, I just, it's me in control when I don't have the staffing to be in control.
any suggestions from the rest of the commissioners?
Well, like I said in the past, you know, you can have a starting percentage and, you know, then go to 2 or 2.5%, 3.5%. At least you get a spreadsheet and she can get that part going and, you know, then your other numbers come in and a guy can, this way we're kinda having to reinvent the wheel and then we're behind on the 8 ball and time goes by and some other issue happens in somebody's office and we're really behind on the 8 ball, but I don't know, if we can have a starting percentage, say like 2 and 2.5, 3 or 3.5, something like that, it's just a starting point to get
Okay.
going.
I'm not disagreeing with that either.
Do you know what the average wage is, or close to, like an approximate?
No. I've never been asked that before.
It's all over the
Okay.
board too.
Well, it's all over the board, so,
Yeah.
I'm a numbers guy.
Cool.
Let's just say the median or the average is $25 an hour, 3% would be 75 cents. So, you could do, I was thinking maybe you would do a 50 cent, a 75 cent, and maybe a 3%, then you'd have options where it's a set amount, and then you'd also have a range, so that if, you know, to the average employee, maybe the premium increase is 2%, then you know what you would need. Just a suggestion, I mean, we're not set to either way, but if we had a couple different options, that health insurance would kind of narrow us into where we think we need to go. So, I mean, that would be my recommendation, a 50 cent, a 75 cent, and a 3% range. And we can be anywhere in there.
Okay, just to clarify then, what you're saying is, you figured a median wage of $25 an hour, 3%
Just-
would be 75 cents.
Right, just threw that out there.
Yep,
Uh,
I'm just,
there's
okay.
No backing to that, it's just,
Okay.
you know,
But, yeah, in the meantime, you can learn what those salaries actually are and come up with, you know, next meeting, you'd have the
mhm.
little clearer
I think
picture.
I think that's a good idea, Travis, that's,
Yeah, I concur
Good.
with what Travis
yeah.
proposed.
Well, I'll make it a motion so that we can just
Move
discuss
on.
it and move on. So I'll say, Shanna, prepare a 50 cent per hour increase, a 75 cent per hour increase, and a 3% across the board increase.
Do I have a second to that?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Wayne?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Gee, aye. You could've said nay.
I can know that, I know that.
Yeah.
Okay,
what he proposed is just a thought, so.
That, yeah, it's
there's
just
nothing
gives
wrong with it.
Shanna something to work with now.
Something to work off of, right,
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, 9:53. Road taxes to cities, number 3.
That's the second time it's been put on on this agenda, and we're waiting for an opinion from our state's attorney.
Yeah.
From all the input I've got, we should, it should be terminated.
I do
We should
believe-
have terminated, last month.
Yes, we should have.
So I think we just make a motion that it be terminated now. Because it basically, we're not supposed to be doing it. It's North Dakota Century Code says no.
That was my interpretation at our meeting when we were at the state treasurer's office.
It's plain and simple, so it's kind of, I don't know, I don't even know how to say this, but even a vote on it's kind of, not, but we should vote on it and terminate it. So I just need a motion to end the road tax to cities,
I'll try-
as per the Century Code, let's put it that way. Because the Century Code states anything from
County Road.
under 10 mils.
Do you need the century code?
Yeah,
11-2307,
No,
isn't it?
240501.
Okay,
What's 25-40501? Say that, read that to me.
Well, it's in our letter from the state tax commissioner stating that we understand a payment is not required to the cities unless required by North Dakota Century Code 240501.
Okay, also read 11-2307.
I don't have no century code.
Okay, 11-2307 reads that you can't take monies from the road fund and put it in other funds.
We didn't.
okay.
Well, actually you are. It says from county road fund, it's budgeted from the county road fund to the cities. It's a budgeted line item of 20%.
Yeah, what,
So,
according to the Century Code, it's, I can only interpret it this way as anything under 10 mils, they get nothing. Between 10 and 20 mils, they get their percentage,
that's correct?
okay?
If we
And-
had that voted for.
Right, but we do not collect more than 10 mils, so they get none.
Zero.
nothing.
Are we on this?
Yep, absolutely
Okay,
correct.
And what was that letter from? Who was that from? Tax,
The tax department.
Tax department.
state tax man? Okay.
It was a
Was it
change
email
in
that ran
legislation in 2015, and it's just, oversight on our commission, or the county's part, put it that way, and we shouldn't have been paying it. So we just
I'll see if I can put that into a motion. Do you want
Okay.
me to? You want to?
give it a try.
Okay. I move that we cease making payment to the cities from our county road fund per century code.
That sounds good to me. Do I have a second to that?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
Do you want to state the century code probably, or doesn't matter?
There's
I
two,
would like to just,
there's two different ones, so.
yeah,
Oh,
unless we know
okay.
specifically, otherwise, if
Okay.
we put it in the motion and then we have it wrong, then we gotta redo it, but it's in the Century Code that
Okay,
we don't.
fine.
Or you could say, based on the recommendation from the tax department's letter.
We can do
And
that.
that would,
I will leave my motion as stated.
Sure.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, Marvin,
Aye.
Travis,
aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Jean, aye. Well, we got 3 whole minutes. 2.5 minutes.
Social service building, I can give you the state audit update.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, I've been in contact with Heath Erickson from the auditor's office in Fargo, and we just actually had a phone conversation yesterday. We'll be setting it up. He was initially looking at September, but that doesn't work for them now, so, then he wanted to do June, the last week in June, but I'm out of town for my association conference. So we're just kinda going through dates now, but we're in the process of getting things going on it.
Setting dates.
Okay. I'd like to add a comment to that too, please.
Did you say it was 7?
Okay.
When we do an audit per our I'll wait till they're done discussing something on there.
So they're just waiting to set a date.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
When we receive an audit, prior to the audit, the auditor sends out a letter of intent or a management letter of what they're going to do. And I read the minutes when we approved, the board approved that letter last time. And so this year, when they pick a date with Shannon, they send out this letter, I would again like the board to approve. Or at least review that letter prior to, as we did in the past.
No, we can.
Just want to mention that. That's how it was done in the past. It's not unusual.
Okay, anything else on the state audit? Got that. Well, I got about 45 seconds, so we might as well.
They could make their way up to the microphone.
Yes. Chip seal bid letting. And you'll have to sit there and play the Jeopardy music for about 20 seconds.
Morning.
Morning.
Charlie, morning Ken.
Morning.
Just a second.
Well, Mr.
Just
Chair,
wait.
Mr. Chair, since you got a little time, how did you guys do on that rain dance last night? Oh, not so well, I see.
Not so well.
Oh, okay.
Work in progress.
Work in progress.
Yeah. Let's call it that.
Okay, now it's 10 o'clock. Now you got the floor. Oh,
Oh,
do I have a motion to close the bids?
so move.
Second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Wayne, how do you vote?
How about I?
Liza?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Jean, aye. It's good I have someone keeping me in order.
You just have the one bid, right?
Yeah, so, okay, I'll grab that from you. So the way we were doing this, come Monday, we received phone calls from contractors, with questions regarding striping on the project. And it was at that time we had noticed that there was a clerical error in our proposal sheet within the specs. The plans were accurate, however, the proposal was inaccurate with its quantities broken out between the base bid and the alternate. So, at that time, we actually reached out to the plan holders list by way of email, and we informed them that we were gonna issue an addendum, and we were gonna move the bid letting back 2 weeks to the 19th, so that we could correct the clerical error. Now, guess I'm catching wind that you're correct, that you're saying that we can't do that for some reason, am I correct on that?
I did run it past State's Attorney Binder this morning, and it doesn't, I don't know if we can, because you have to bid, you have to have it advertised for so many days prior, and if you're changing it now, I think well, perfect.
Here she is.
Perfect. Your ears were burning, I can tell.
I was trying to recap what you had said, but it's always better coming from you.
Yes.
Okay, first off, explain to me the issue though.
So, we issued for bid the bid package, which included the plans and the specifications. And within the specifications is the bid proposal sheet, where there was a clerical error in the quantities between the base bid and the alternate. The plans were accurate, however, the proposal quantities for striping, specifically the striping items, was inaccurate in the proposal. The questions started to come in from contractors on Monday, and when we had noticed the error, we then turned around and sent a note, or I guess an email, to the plan holder list notifying them that we would issue an addendum for this and we would push the bid letting back 2 weeks to the 19th. That was the action that we have taken thus far.
My concern is that 2-week timeframe doesn't fall within the publication requirements.
Okay,
Because under the statute that requires it, it said a minimum of 15 days before the day set for opening.
sure.
We're only 2 weeks out. So
Sure.
I don't think we can meet that next meeting deadline.
So what we can do is we can actually amend that if we need to, and push it back even further, so we are given that 15-day timeframe, if that would then
Yeah.
be,
Rebid, re-advertise and all that.
sure.
Right. So, I don't know, that goes back to you and the dates.
Excuse me,
These-
Jess, can you pull your microphone down so the community?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Never been told
Because
I'm
the issue,
quiet.
so the issue we would have with
It's like their
accepting
mic
this
over
low
there
bid
too,
today
it's just,
is, the problem with it is the quantities are so different on the striping.
striping.
They're lower, significantly lower on, between the two bid packages. And so, in order to rectify that by way of change order, in combination with the conversations I did have with the other contractors that reached out to me on it, and I notified them, we can get this corrected, and that way it's it's an even playing ground, so to speak, with, the bidders at hand.
Right.
They didn't even submit a bid because they knew that that was coming.
Right, I would suggest we, open, reject all bids and entirely rebid it.
Sure.
Cause that I'm sure that throws off your dates and stuff, but I don't know if there's any other way around it. The only thing I could see is, like I told Ken, if you did a change order to rectify, but now you'll also know that there's other bidders that would have put in, hadn't been.
And I would hate to do that because in conversations I did have with the contractors,
Right.
they informed me that it is a absolute fantastic time to be bidding chip seals because it's so competitive.
Mhm.
And I would hate to just
Right,
not have so to speak, competition with
Right.
one bid.
never good to have one bid, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So does it throw things off if you open them on June 2nd?
No, in all likelihood, it probably wouldn't happen until July or August anyway.
Okay, cause that'd probably be the soonest, cause it has to be published for 21 days. in the
Yeah,
paper.
we would be fine moving it back, we would. We would.
Yeah, so it'd have to be to the paper for next week's publication.
Mhm.
Sure.
Okay.
So we've closed the bid letting.
So now
We
gotta-
would just
So we need to
basically
reject?
reject
We
all
need to
bids and
reject.
repost for a bid opening on June 2nd.
Yep.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
So there's not even a need to open this then?
No.
No,
And that would be preferred, so that there's no numbers out there?
Yeah.
Right.
right,
Yeah, I would agree.
right.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So your motion reads to reject all bids and rebid the chip seal project on June 2nd, 2021 at 10 a.m.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, that was his.
that's what I
motion.
heard, yeah.
Thanks, Jana.
And our
Thanks.
apologies on that, Jenny feels like a heel over it. I did check her bid proposal, but I checked one number because it was math. And, I checked the chip seal quantity and it was accurate. I didn't check the,
Striping,
straight.
yeah.
So
'Cause the
that's
chip
just as
seals-
much my fault as it is Jenny's, and I'm not gonna hang it on Jenny.
We're all human.
And I tried to tell her that too, she feels awful about it, so, I think she wanted to make sure I let you guys know that.
There's no worries here.
No,
It's
no
better
problem.
to,
Let her know that too, there's no
I'm-
worries here.
Sure.
I'm just glad it was caught and we were able
Right.
to remedy
Remedy
it,
it.
so.
Yeah,
No
yeah, she's embarrassed, she doesn't even know how she came up with the numbers that were in there, so.
better that it's caught up front.
Right.
Right.
Okay, any other discussion on the rejection of all bids and rebidding? Hearing none, Travis,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye,
Marvin,
Aye.
Gene, aye. So,
Okay.
just make sure you get it in the paper though.
We'll get it in the paper and I'll make sure I get this back to the contractor.
Yeah.
Return, unopened.
Okay,
Thank you, Charlie.
thank you.
Thank you.
dodged a bullet there.
Next item, motor grader purchase. Ken?
After reviewing the bids there, RDO was the lowest bid there with a total purchase price of $334,000. $797. It's my recommendation that we, this one does have the buyback of $157,800. And I'm recommending that we take $135,000 out of our equipment budget, which leaves me a balance of $9,415. And the only thing I have really coming out of that is about a little over $4,000 for that John Deere lease on that tractor we always do every year through RDO, through the Association of Counties.
Ken, I wanna back you up just for a second. Go through that, 334,797, the buyback is 157,800.
Yep.
What did you say after that?
Then $135,000 out of our line item for equipment purchase.
Okay,
So that brings a total of $292,800.
I'm lost there.
Yeah,
What is that number?
so we owe.
That's the buyback plus $135,000.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's,
Oh, so that's your balance of your 41,979. Is the sheet accurate?
oh, I'm not looking at that one, I'm looking at this one.
okay, let me clarify something for the board so there's some confusion, and this is from myself. I had a meeting with Ken yesterday, and we visited about this, and I gave you this handout. And this is what we discussed yesterday. And he's saying the same thing from what I can understand, but it's not the format that was presented when we talked about it yesterday.
The numbers come out the same. In the end, we'll owe $41,979.
The cost of the machine was 334,797, right, Ken?
Yep,
And we did, this is the same sheet that we had yesterday.
correct.
The buyback was 157,800.
Yep,
That means we have a balance to pay on this machine of 176,979.
right. And,
Of that 176,979, you wanna take 135,000 out of your equipment line item.
right,
Is that correct?
yes.
Yep.
So we still owe 42,000, basically.
Well, it's gonna be, because Steve sent that thing with the 3-year lease thing on here, and they have that docking fee, they call it. So that's another $650, so it's $42,647 is what the difference is.
Okay,
So
that-
the balance.
Okay, that,
650 was the docking fee, right?
Yep, yep.
that comes into effect, cause what I suggested, and I suggested this to the road department because I know our budget constraints on the road department, and they're gonna be explained in these documents attached, that the balance of the 41,979 that we still owe, I recommend that we set that up as a 2 or 3 year lease, because we don't have the funds for it, to pay it, and that's where we incur that $650 docking fee. Is that right, Ken?
Well, it's,
That's just for all the paper.
right, and it's paperwork, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I say, that's the 42,647.
Yep.
You take that out over 3 years, which would be a year from, when we get the machine, which Steve had said 2 to 4 months, depends, because they're having problems with getting some of the supplies for some of the machines, so it depends, that's why that 2 to 4 month window is, but, it would be, every year, we would pay for 3 years, $15,464.92. At the end of that third year, we would own that machine though, that would be ours.
And the buyback would be
I think it was 90,000.
90 grand. I just wanted that stated.
But I have a question. There's nowhere, in the general fund where we have, 42,000 that we could transfer in and get this paid for in whole, so that we're not leasing for the next 3 years?
I'll let Shannon, my knowledge, I'd say no at this time, because we don't know where we're gonna be at the end of the year. And it should not come, well, it can come out of the general fund. If it came out of the general fund, you'd be taking it out of basically the COVID surplus that's in there, but yes, we could do that.
Well, either way, the taxpayers are
Yep.
gonna have to pay for this.
Mr. Chairman, you wanna help me out here on number 911? On their budget sheet, we got $140,000.
That's right.
What are they planning on doing on miscellaneous?
I'm where?
I transposed it, didn't I? Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry, what did you ask, Wayne?
Well, I don't know if I'm catching this, but under 911, under miscellaneous, we have $140,000.
Second sheet right here, underneath there. On the attachment that I gave out.
Yep. Yep.
All right, go ahead, Wayne.
So what are we using miscellaneous? Isn't that kind of a catch-all fund, or what's happening
Oh,
here?
no.
I didn't,
You guys, you have to remember things from previous meetings. That was that buyback check from last December that got cashed, but we had to pay that out. So then the board made the motion to pay it out of his miscellaneous fund. That's why it's showing that.
okay.
That's a whole different scenario.
Well, that answers the
What you
question,
wanna
Right.
look at is, what is your,
because I was wondering,
Okay, well, let me answer your question, Wayne.
That's-
Because I handed this out and I wanted you guys to see that.
well, no,
Shannon's not incorrect, but that's, in my opinion, that's an error on our part. We should never be charging equipment to a miscellaneous. There's two reasons. One is, if you look at these codes that are here, these numbers that are right in front of these, let's go up to, halfway up the page, you see 356, that's telephone. Every department has a telephone, and it's all 356. When we query our database, and we wanna know what is our telephone bill for the year, we can look up 356, we'll see what the total bill is for telephone for our county. And same thing with all of our other bills, utilities, you'd be able to see that. If we leave this under miscellaneous at $140,000, when we pull up our miscellaneous expenses and we try to make a budget for that, it's gonna be skewed because it's not a miscellaneous expense. It's written under the wrong, it should have been underneath equipment. I would like that corrected. It skews our budgeting really bad when we, and the board did approve that.
made by the board to do that?
I don't remember.
I don't recall the miscellaneous
No, I don't.
account, but
I think we did go
Because
through the
then if you had
miscellaneous.
taken it out of his equipment fund, then you would have said, well, Ken, you don't have any money left in there, so you're not buying anything in this January first.
we still don't have any money in our
Right,
equip,
is
our,
that how it would have went?
Okay.
Right, but I don't remember.
you guys, see how that skews things?
Yeah, I know.
What Shannon just said, we still don't have money.
Why don't you?
It says that we have that money in our equipment, but our total budget is already spent the $140,000.
But it's not, because the check was deposited on December 28th into the county road fund.
Was it into the county road fund?
Absolutely, into the county road fund.
What date was that, please?
December 28th, she said.
Into 2140-369-10-000 by the direction of Rachel. It was deposited.
Okay, give me that fund number, please, again. 2140.
369-10-000.
Okay,
This has been discussed, I don't know how many times.
it doesn't matter if I need clarification, I'm just asking for clarification.
That money went into the county road fund, and here,
Okay.
what it should have been done was an exchange check. Instead of being deposited into their fund, it should have been exchanged and given back to Butler. Butler, or you?
Yeah, it was Butler, that one was.
That one was a
Yep.
Butler one?
Cause that was that, yep.
Well, here we did year-end, month-end, year-end, all of this stuff, and we all know that these accounts start replenished at zero at the beginning of the year with nothing in them, and the dollars were in the county road fund, which those dollars always stay in the county road fund, it's not like the general fund, and so we had to pay it out. We had the line item, 9/11, and we owed them the money, we had to pay it. And
Okay.
we had the money, it wasn't our money to have, it was theirs.
I agree with all that. The only question that I have, and I believe it was an error, on Shannon's correct in all that.
Well, that
Per
way-
good accounting practices, it should not have been listed underneath miscellaneous.
Well, that way we all know this again, so.
Okay,
So anyway, that's what that sheet was for. That answers your question, Wayne.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Now, the reason that I recommended on that very front page, the reason, first I'm gonna fix something. On that very first page, that third number down where it says 176,979, I transposed it, it's supposed to be 176,997. Liza corrected me on that. So it'll change the other numbers, $20. It's no big deal there. So, that's, I just wanted you guys to be aware that was charged in the miscellaneous, that's the only reason I wrote that on there. The next page shows a scenario that I presented to this board before, and I presented it to Ken twice. It's just an idea of how much money we need to budget every year for our equipment line, so we get back to sixth graders. Typical grader is, well, we just got that price, $334,000, let's just say $350. We need to budget at least that much every year for equipment.
Does that include our leases?
Mhm. So anyhow, that's what that's saying. We need, and what I recommended is that we budget $441,000 per year for equipment, on our equipment line, to get back on track. But part of my recommendation is that we're gonna review this, and I'm gonna put it up, that's why I want it on next month's agenda. The very last page, or second to the last page, I've shown this to the board previously also. This, I'll just number those columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There's 6 columns across the top, that sheet there. This here I want verified, and I want everyone to look at this and verify my numbers, including our auditor, so it's accurate. Need more people to look at this stuff. Looking at this stuff, at the end of 2021, if we spend all of the money in our budget for the road department, at the end of 2021, the beginning of 2022, in column 4, that's how much money is gonna be in those funds. The revenue for 2022 is an estimate. The 90,000 is based on previous, what we get from township roads. Unorganized roads, we had 18 mills, that's what it would be. State highway is another, we get that from the state, that's not a mill levy. Aid to secondary roads is a mill levy, and has a 10 mill max. County roads has 10. So if you add columns 4 and 5, you're going to get the revenue that we're going to get in column 6. You total all those revenues up, it says we have $3.9 million coming in. If we budget $4 million for their total budget, and that's down below, that's explained that that's no different than it was this year, except for we increase our equipment line back to where it should be. Our 2022 expenses exceed the revenue. This is just a projection. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us that we're in 2022, and that's a budget season coming up, and this document has to be part of that budget process. We may not have enough money in our funds at the present mill levy to pay for that. So visiting with the road department, if you go to the very last page, I think I got it highlighted, you'll see the years 2022, there's 3 line items, 7, 8, and 9. In order to make things match at the present mill levy, we may, this is just an idea, we're gonna discuss this at our next meeting, we may have to not do either 7 or 8. It's a possibility we could put those off. So this is just food for thought, okay? What this all boils down to, when you go back to the second to the last sheet, I got it in bold. At the end of 2022, we're gonna use all of our reserves that we have in these funds. So beginning of 2023, we won't have any cash reserves to add to what's needed to pay that budget. So as we do our 2022 budget, we need to be fully understanding this, and I need your guys' help and input on that. That at the end of 2022, we won't have any reserves, so we would have to possibly have, for 2023, we'd have to really have a large tax increase.
Okay, that's something we'll have to cover during budgeting.
The reason I had that all there was to help explain, it's a long answer, why I recommended a 2 to 3 year lease, because it looks like we're going to have a shortage of funds. That's how I got to that thought. And this is what I'm recommending. Now, there's another part to that too, but it's farther down. We're gonna be down to 4 machines around July 1st. We could get our new machine as early as August, but it looks like probably later. Could be as late as the 1st of October. That's just a projection also, because they're having problems getting some wiring things. So, we gotta get this machine as soon as we can, so that's where we're at. And because we're getting down, in July, we're gonna be down to 4 machines. This is not part of the purchase, so we'll talk about that possibility later, but. We're back to the motor grader purchase. How do you guys wanna do it?
Okay, my question still is, we don't, have any funds in the general fund where we could transfer 42,000 and pay this thing off so that, for next year, we can, we don't have to have a lease for 2 to 3 years
Well,
then we'd own the machine straight out?
Right.
well, Mr. Chairman, the other possibility is hopefully, his budget, he's not gonna burn up every cent that he has. And, the end of the year, if he has funds left in his budget, we set those funds to buy down this machine.
I don't disagree with that either.
That way,
Steve said that is a possibility. I mean, we
I
can
mean,
do it.
I'm thinking that's what you're thinking
Right.
about too, right?
No. Right,
Yeah,
that's a possibility too, yeah.
because, you know, a chip seal project here
Right.
may come in pretty decent and,
Yeah.
Charlie may decide he doesn't want to be married for the rest of the year.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Okay, even if,
So that would put us up to 5 machines, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, we're gonna lose that 103, that's that one that's leased, that was, well,
That
that we're not
was-
gonna get, goes back, it stays back.
Because we don't have a
We don't
buyback
know,
on that one,
right,
right? Okay.
right,
technically, we'll be down to 4 until you get this machine.
correct, yeah.
Yeah.
'cause 102 has, well, it's about a little less than 200 hours to go to get to that 7,000, and 103's got 80-some hours yet, and then they're at their 7,000, so.
I think the general consensus is you're gonna get the okay to purchase this motor grader, it's just what are we gonna do with the balance owed?
Right,
right.
I
So-
would recommend leasing it until.
right, and then do like
we
what
see what
Wayne
market's
said,
like in
yeah,
July.
like Wayne said.
What would be due if we approve this now? Anything until we get the machine?
Well, if you, once you approve it, then they can get, they would put the order in, they would get it, the ball rolling to get it, made. And,
But do we have to supply them with any funding prior to
no, we're
actually getting the
using
machine?
we're using the buyback and that $135,000 for the, right, towards the
Purchase,
payment, yep.
Okay.
And
So our
then-
next payment, technically, when we lease it, would be next fall,
Right,
when we take,
in 22.
right, a year from when we get the
Okay.
machine.
Okay, so,
Okay.
We get paid for it.
Right.
so if we
yeah.
approve it now, the buyback is used up, 135,000 from your equipment budget. The difference,
Is-
we would say lease, but
Right.
we'd have the option to pay it off at the end
Right.
of the year or the beginning of next
Right.
year, before
Without
any,
penalty,
without
right?
penalty.
Yep.
Okay.
Steve couldn't make it, but Larry can. This is Larry from RDO. Steve couldn't make it. so.
Oh, okay,
okay.
okay.
My question to you is, you have 144,000 in your line item right now.
Right.
Do you feel comfortable spending 130,000 of that being in its only name?
I do, because the only thing we have that we can take out that we're,
Is that
is that
4,000?
lease of that tractor, that
lease
John Deere
tractor.
tractor, and that's like
You don't
4,500.
foresee
We-
anything breaking down or having to pay for anything else until December 31st?
Absolutely not.
I'm
just gonna keep them running
Right.
top notch.
Like, if you don't wanna put the full 135 down.
We
Do
could
you
go
wanna put
one,
120 or 125, just to
we'd
keep
go
it pushing?
125,
You
just to
know,
be safe, because
If
you
you're
like to
gonna
say.
lease a portion of it, you might as well just lease a little bit more, so you're not strapping the
Right.
budget.
Oh,
to the
yeah.
beginning of May.
I see what Shanna's.
We asked that question yesterday too, and he was sticking with his 135. And I agree with Shanna, to tell you the
Right.
truth, that
Right.
why would we cut ourselves so short because of what ifs?
Yeah, you haven't had a bad winter in a long time.
Right.
That tent ain't gonna cover the bad winter, but it's still It's a
Well,
dang,
or
it's a
just
good
even
idea.
like, if something overheats and starts on fire,
Yep.
you know, I know we got insurance, but still, you never know.
So
how much
what's
that's
the
gonna cover.
commission's recommendation? Changes, down his payment out of the budget line, equipment to 125 instead of 135? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
The balance to be paid on a 3-year lease.
And are you okay with that, Ken?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Well, we just do the whole thing as a motion. We
I think
don't
I can put that into a
change in
motion.
the recommendation. We don't. Okay, so then we're gonna owe about just over 50,000. We're gonna lease.
Yep.
In a lease agreement. And you guys can do the details on that.
And that'll be okay?
Yep, absolutely. Yep, the only, like they had mentioned, you can pay it off whenever you want. That $650 dock fee would not be reimbursable. I mean, once you enter into a lease, that's fixed. But, right, if you guys wanna back down that down payment for kind of a rainy day fund, we just rework the lease, for the 3-year, and obviously your payment goes up, but
Yep.
again, I agree, that's probably a good idea. So, but no problem, as soon as you guys figure it out, we'll just redo the paperwork and get it out to you.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
Very good.
thanks.
Okay, we got, sounds like everything is, we got a pretty good understanding here then, and that, we'll, purchase that for 334, what is it, 797?
Correct.
And we'll buy back 157, we'll pay down, take 125 out of your budget, so we'll end up owing about 52,000.
Right.
Well, yeah, we'll owe about 52,000. We're gonna do that on a lease agreement.
For 3
With
years.
no
And
prepayment
then at
penalty.
the end of the year, it's just a general understanding that what's left in your budget, we'll add that to the,
Right.
to the payment. Okay, any other discussion?
Well, we need a motion first.
I know, but we're discussing it before the motion here. Okay, well, do I have a motion
Mr.
to
Chairman,
move ahead with the motor grader purchase?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we purchase the John Deere for $334,797. Use our buyback money. And pay down $125,000 from our equipment line. And pay the remaining balance on a 3-year lease with no prepayment penalty. No early prepayment penalty.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Marvin, Travis. Any further discussion? Gosh, I hope not, we beat this one up. Marvin, how do you vote? Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Wayne?
Aye.
Gene, aye. Go get your motor grader.
Thanks.
After all that,
Thank you, Larry.
you bet. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman?
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman,
Oh,
I got just one, question here, or I noticed it here on that sheet that Marv has here, it says, quit section line, evidently blading. Well, I have a little bit of big concern about this, and big concern is we have fire indexes up here that are hugely high. Our fire trucks aren't cheap that we run. For instance, you go south of Zap, you got the Warner Benefit place there, there's a cut across road. Well, it's, naturally, they're gonna cut across that road to save time, to get to fire on County 11 down there. Well, if that road isn't bladed and we got washout CA deep, what are we gaining here? There gotta be some time to touch some of these cut across section lines because of fire and that type of, emergencies, so that we don't wreck other type of equipment. So would that be something that, Ken, that we could consider and look at, that, because that fire district?
I think, yeah, that wasn't part of the motion to quit these, but I think, we'll leave that up to Ken to use his own, judgment, and On what
Right.
would be considered like an emergency route, I'm sure he's got consideration for that.
Right.
I
Oh,
doubt if he's
yeah.
gonna cut that out.
Well, right, they have to be maintained somewhat for rescue, type of vehicles,
Yeah.
you know? We don't need to wreck them because we didn't go through there all summer, so.
I think
This
we're
is-
more, I think a bigger concern would be, private drives. You know, where people want their private driveway maintained, we might be, could probably use the word quit, but it'll be significantly reduced.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
That's up to your discretion anyway, isn't it?
Well, if
Yeah.
we're in the area, yeah, but it's like I say, it does add up after a while, and like I say, we only have these many machines and, you know, and
Well,
like I
that's
say,
that's understandable, but as taxpayers, we pay $300,000 for that fire truck, and we twisted up the frame because of just a simple washout in a trail. These trails aren't only used, they're used for farmers cutting across and this and that. They have our county culverts in and everything else, it's just that it's a non-gravel trail. And that doesn't mean that we don't do maintenance on them, though. It's still, the public looks at this and they go, well, it's still feasible to drive down here. If it's not travelable, then you better be putting barricades up. That's what I'm just trying to say. And the fire department won't know this. They think, well, that's a cut-across trail, and we save, you know, or you come down to my place, if you go across there, it's 8 miles around, 4 miles further south to get on to 12 down there. Well, 8 miles is 8 miles with a fire truck, that's a lot of time. So, I just don't want this to, just because it's a little dry out and we still need to have these passable, is what I'm just trying to say.
Okay. Your concerns are noted. Anything else? Okay, County 26 shovel crossing.
on, I think it's May 17th, afternoon of, and into, well, before dark there anyway, Coteau wants to cross up there on County 26, right west of DGC. They built that pad, it's been a couple of years ago already, I think they poured. Ryland's here from Coteau, he can talk. We've done it before, just always like giving you guys a heads up, giving the public a heads up, and they always contact emergency services, and there will be a bypass there, right? I mean, they can, is that right? I mean,
Yeah,
that's what we
right,
always-
on going from Coteau. Yeah, there'll be a emergency route. Now with that concrete pad, we don't have to put dirt across. We just lay rubber mats, so it went from a couple hour process now to 15 minutes. So we will have emergency vehicles there. We have emergency route lined up if there was an emergency at any time. But it went from a couple hours now to just 10 to 15 minutes.
This is just west of DGC.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
And
Did
they
you
always
need-
get a hold of emergency services to tell them that,
Yeah.
but there is they can get through there if they would have to, but it's always nice to let them guys still know, so.
What day was that, May
May
17th.
17th?
17th?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Need a motion to approve?
No,
No?
no, just a heads
Just-
up.
Just a
Yeah.
heads up.
Okay. Yeah, they've done several highway crossings, so
Yeah,
quite familiar with them up in that area.
It's pretty good.
Okay, anything else?
No.
We're gonna take a recess for a few minutes. About 5.
10:42?
10:42.
Run.
Gene better be back.
Yep.
Is that the company you're saying? Did pretty good?
Yeah. That was only,
Almost had you, Mark. So what's your theory about the rain dance?
light drizzle, or do we get the downpour?
It'll be a solid rain.
Oh, okay, a soaking one, huh?
Every
Okay.
person in the western half of the city.
And you're gonna coordinate that?
Well,
Right?
I think he said he was gonna shut down all the flaring on the western part of the state, and then he's gonna shut down all the windmills. And see if we can.
You're trying to get him in trouble, Wayne.
And see if we can get this weather pattern changed out of the Rockies or something, or out of the Gulf, huh?
If the Democrats can shut down all the flares and the Republicans can shut down all the wind power.
Wind power. We'll be good. Well, we have,
Go ask the politicians.
well, we have to do something, to try something, see if that's gonna, I'm not a hot air balloonist, but. Yeah.
I'm surprised we're not like this more often, because there's no water source between us and the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
We really get
True.
precipitation from.
Mhm.
I know my folks is, they started out, not as dry as us, but almost pretty, one of the worst it's been this year. And they're just fine now, just because
Fine.
some of the stuff is being generated from the Missouri and Mississippi systems,
Up,
the
up
lakes. so,
through the, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, if somebody would see, you know,
Push it westward, we get some.
that you have 12 months per year of no moisture, you go, are you kidding? The guy, this can't be possible, but it is. It
When was
just,
the last time we had regular moisture?
Well,
Was there any in the fall last year, or was it?
no, even
Really dry.
The
October,
fall 2 years ago was wet.
Then-
That was a
yeah,
dry
then it
year,
just
and then we had
like-
a wet fall.
Right.
real
But
wet.
Yeah.
that was 2 years ago. So yeah, it has been about a year.
Yeah, I know we had to spend a bit of money, we put an irrigation system in, cause I had a whole bunch of trees planted by soil and water conservation, I'm like, I'm not gonna waste $3,000, so.
So did you set up a tank and a drip system then?
Yeah, we have, well, it'll put like, one will put like 2 gallons out or something, and one will put 1 gallon or something, but we got we got little drip systems
Sure,
all along
sure.
the row, and
Yeah,
hunkered them
Well-
down so they don't blow away.
well, and down in our country, I mean, I got a lot of stock ponds and they're bone dry. I do have
I
a
made it.
southwest water tap that am not using,
I actually
but
took her.
very
these
likely
also.
will be used, but they're,
There goes the
I
money
took
back,
her the
yeah.
bill.
well, and there's no guarantee that you're gonna get
Figured I
water
had-
out of those
I had like
people, neither
2.5
it's right in their
minutes,
contract.
and I can get them over
If
back.
Oh,
there's-
really?
Mhm. If it's, I mean, them pasture taps are trimble roots, you know, the residential is first, and that's
Yeah,
second.
and then
treasurer's
you guys
report.
are-
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Oh, wow.
so
What do you wanna have that?
that's interesting,
All in?
yeah.
Well, we got social service building next, and then treasurer's report, doesn't
Oh,
matter.
I misunderstood, I thought,
Doesn't matter
I
which.
thought
comes
you
in.
said something about social service, and
30
she was
seconds.
talking about the state,
Yeah, that
10:45,
guy's coming in,
yeah.
yeah.
and I go,
Okay.
this isn't making any sense here, it just,
You're like, wait a minute.
yeah. Yeah. So the water installer and the well man is gonna be very, very busy. I don't,
We're gonna table it till the next meeting, she's not here.
Okay.
Nothing that has to be reported today.
and I think they had, it sounded like they had 600
Well, we just
call
don't have a
Caterpillars and Dickinson Thursday.
What'd you say?
Tuesday.
We just don't have a treasurer's report.
So then, I don't know how many they'll have tomorrow.
Come on, Shanna, where are you? Was she in her office, or? She go burn one.
I think she's,
She normally goes outside for a
I
little
was
bit.
gonna say, those ashes gotta be really hot. I used to smoke, so. 2 lifetimes ago almost, so.
They say if you quit, it adds 10 years to your life the second you quit.
Oh,
Really?
really?
I quit in 76.
Well, look at that. Now
Yeah.
you get to live 10 years longer.
I'll be 200 years old.
Yeah. Just a young pup.
I have a twin sister that never has quit, and I just can't get her to persuade her to not do that.
They have to want to, otherwise it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, she's at the point now, you get older, you get more set in your ways. that Don't bring it up anymore.
Oh,
It's
oh.
not even a topic to discuss,
And
huh?
I respect that, but doggone it.
Well, in my case, just for story type deal, my case, I have only one older brother. And he told me, he says, if I ever catch you smoking, you're gonna get a whipping. Okay, and he was very generous on most everything, but I knew he was dead serious. So I get to thank my brother because I probably would have done that.
So you didn't
but
get a whipping, huh?
I didn't get a
Yes.
whipping.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't do.
Okay, we'll reconvene. Social Services Building.
Okay. I know we had talked about putting this on the agenda when Steve Reiser had come in during budget time, but he did call me last week, the week before, and he said it's completely up to the commission on what they wanna do. He said if the board wants them to bring people back in that office, they could do it on June 7th. They'd be working in the office 2 days a week, they'd still be working from home 3 days a week, and it'd be 2 employees. All the other, people over there are state employees versus zone employees.
Mm.
So, and I know, Travis and I had been in conversation back in March about the value of that building. So we had the tax director's office, Jen came up, she found it was built in 1985, it's 3,100 square feet. And then that businesses have a 30% economic obsolescence applied to them, so she applied that to stay consistent, so she came up with a value of 166.10.
And I just had her do that, so we had like a starting point based on
Yep.
Sure.
values in the area.
166,000,
166.
you're saying?
$166,010.
Oh, I didn't put the 010.
Right? You
No.
buy it, right, Dan?
It was built when?
Right?
Yeah.
85.
Bounce, bounce.
So they would probably be able to use it. Where are those two people right now, the 2 days per week use? Are we paying for wherever they're at right now?
No,
No.
No, as the zones were set up, we're only responsible for, housing them and like, just the stuff that's in the building. Steve and I have had several conversations, if, in this last year that they've been home, they haven't had the need to meet with clients. But if they would need to meet with clients, we have, this large conference room here. He said the only thing they would request is some space to use a laptop and be able to connect to the Wi-Fi. We also have, Bill Janish's old office in the main hallway right here that sits empty. So we do have a couple of locations if they would need to meet, with
They have
clients.
also utilized the youth bureau services. They've been over there a couple of times too and utilized that front meeting area to meet with families that have some kids in there and stuff too. So they've already utilized that.
Privacy issues and stuff, yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
The,
So what's your I'm sorry.
oh, it's just I'm not a electronic guru, but, you know, we've got the router and stuff, so how are they securing their systems at home from being kinda really hacked into?
VPN.
Yeah, they're on the state VPN.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, yeah.
It's a secure site
Yeah.
that state employees
State-
can use. Yep.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So what are your thoughts on this building, Shannon?
Well, my thoughts are, 2 personnel, 2 days a week, we run into the issue of, do we know it's 2 days a week? We have limited maintenance staff to be going over there to check daily if it needs to be maintained or cleaned or whatnot. I was just in there last week while Jim was finishing up painting and moving stuff, and that's a huge building. That's a lot of office space for 2 employees to be keeping the lights on. And my thing is do we wait to see what happens next after the COVID world we've been living in, I don't know, because right now, there's no water running through the pipes, we're still heating it, you know, we all know if something sits empty very long, it just deteriorates a lot quicker than if
Yeah.
somebody's in it.
Well, as far as social services are concerned, the future doesn't look like they're gonna need any,
Probably not.
Need the building.
right, that they're not gonna
Especially
need the
since we
building.
have
They're
other
not,
alternatives for them.
In multiple locations.
Right.
Yeah, we-
so the only thing we'd be looking at is if we could make use of that building of some sort. And there hasn't, nothing's come up that I've heard of where we could make, economical use of it.
You know, we built this courthouse, we spent a lot of taxpayers' money for it, we have rooms for them to meet. It almost looks like we don't need that building anymore because we had the foresight to update our courthouse and the changing social services situation.
Change.
To me, it looks like, first blush tells me that let's capitalize on it and sell it. That's my first blush.
And I know there's a whole century code that goes with, like, selling probably property, like real estate, so we'd have to refer to state's attorney on that, but,
We've done it before. We sold that house in Golden Valley.
yep, we didn't use a realtor for that one, I'm not sure.
I'm just saying that
Yes.
there's stuff that we have to go
Yeah.
through, but first we have to decide if we're gonna, what we wanna do with it.
And, yeah, I hear what you're definitely saying, and I think, I don't disagree with that. It looks like that's the trend where, the zones have gone. Who would have ever known, but, and, you know, but it's a tough pill because once it's sold, and then it's done and
Yeah.
over with. And that's one of those things that's just something we have to do. But I think you're absolutely right. We're probably looking at probably selling this particular property because it's just, if, like Shanna says, if they're only utilizing it 2 days a week, golly, there's a big, you know, when we walked through, there was a big offices, areas and stuff, kind of a
And he did
waste.
say that everything in there is pretty much Mercer County.
I believe you're right, yeah.
They have a few files and stuff left in there, but he said it wouldn't take much to get their things out, so there's a lot of stuff in there.
Well, and right now we have to pay insurance on the building, we have to
Exactly.
pay utilities on the building.
Taxes.
So I think it would end up saving the county a considerable bit amount of money in a time when we really do need it too, to try and help offset other costs.
Yeah, I think we can,
You wanna sleep on it, or you wanna make a decision?
I think we should look if there, I don't even know how we would do that, actually, but look if there's an interest in it at all. If someone would be interested, but,
I have heard of one person that
I have heard.
expressed
I've
interest.
heard a little bit of interest too, and I don't know if that's what we wanna go with, maybe putting it for sale by owner at this point, and if we have trouble, then finding a realtor to do the advertising for us, but.
I think we first have to check century code to see
Right.
exactly what we can and can't do. But I think it would be worth us
Let's,
having our legal
Do you want,
check on it.
let's postpone it to the next meeting
and have Jess come up?
and have just tell us what we
Can or
can
can't.
do, how we can move forward on disposing of that property.
Yeah, postpone or table it? Postpone.
I'm gonna use postpone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
I've heard, I've had that interpreted in two ways and I haven't researched it enough. Did it? Okay, we'll postpone decision on the social service building at least until the next meeting.
Until legal counsel.
Yep,
Advises on century code for selling county building.
tells us how we can proceed on it. Okay, we have no treasurer's report.
Well, it still has to be discussed, it was on our agenda. Treasurer's report was on their other business. We do not have a treasurer today, she's ill. I suggest we add this to next meeting's agenda.
Okay,
Postpone to next meeting's agenda.
Okay.
North Dakota Association of Counties.
All that is a handout. First I wanna ask, how many were able to attend the class?
I was not able to.
I wasn't able to, but I listened to the recording later.
Okay, okay, so for those that were not able, and even for those that did, this is my second class. I'll have to tell you, this class was almost a copy of the previous class, but they added some stuff, and it was really, really valuable, very helpful. I asked them to send me full-size copy of what they had on their PowerPoint, which they did. I made copies so everybody can go back and refer to that, okay?
And you
So
can
I'm-
sit through it yet.
Yep,
So-
it's worthwhile to sit through it, it really is, they do an excellent job. There's a deadline that you can, I don't know what it is, but there's so many days after a while you can't get back into, to look at it. Or if that's just the password they set up for you. But they're very helpful. So anyways, I gave you guys a handout what was in that meeting. One thing she referred to several times was 112302 and 112301, so I made a copy of that also. So, there we are, you have the handout of what was at that meeting.
Alright, thank you, Marvin.
You're welcome.
Portfolio updates. I'm gonna start down with myself again. Down this end.
I noticed that, okay.
Well, I've been leapfrogging, okay, we'll start with Wayne this
Oh,
time.
I'm not ready though.
Okay. First you. All right, on mine, I have none. I talked to I see we're at full staff at clerk courts, so that's looking good. Sheriff's Department had nothing, of course, I didn't meet with them yet this morning. State's Attorney, there was nothing. And then my other, I'd have to dig them up, where do I have it? Anyway, I have nothing to report. Marvin?
Just a couple little things. I did attend the DACO class, and I had to do it online, because the day they had it, I was out of town. But it was very worthwhile, and I recommend that everybody should take that class. It's very, very informative. I would also recommend that we follow that plan in our budget process. Other thing is, I did go to the Extension Advisory meeting last night, and that went a little long, but it was very helpful. One thing with the extension, they're looking for ways to reach the public, and one of the first things that they're looking at and prioritizing is letting public aware of all the things that they're able to help us with. And most people don't know, including myself. The last thing I have is, May 10th, there's a legislative wrap-up down in Bismarck by NADACO. There's a $50 registration fee if you do it early, $65 if you do it at the door. I have registered for that, and I'd also recommend, NADACO strongly recommends that we go, so we see what's going to be affecting our budget this coming year.
I wanna
You can either do
piggyback
that
on
online or
but
in person, right?
Pardon
You
me?
can do it online or in person. Today is the last day to get it for $50, otherwise it goes to $65. Whenever you're registering for any NADACO class, always just hit Bill County, because then the bill comes right to me, and then I just, put it against your budget. And as of this morning, it was just Wanda and I registered for that.
Yeah, I keep trying and it won't ever give me confirmation and it won't go through. It says it does, but then it doesn't give me confirmation, it never puts me on the list. So I don't know what's going on.
Okay, I'll call after this and check on it.
Okay, thanks,
Yeah.
Shanna.
And did anybody else register that? Did you register?
I registered right away before I sent you the email, but
You're not showing registered,
I-
just Wanda and I are.
I never clicked Bill County. I'll double check it, but I did it very first, yes, I did. I'll
Okay,
double
well,
check it.
I'll just make sure that you both are registered, and if
And I picked online.
you're doing, and what did you pick, Marvin?
In person.
Thank you, Shanna.
Yeah.
I never thought of going back and verifying like you did, you know, ladies have better things.
You should get an email right
Yeah,
away.
if you don't get a confirmation email, it didn't go through. And I've tried 3 times now and still haven't gotten confirmation email.
Well, blow me down.
Learn something every day.
Thank you. Here, I thought it was a go.
You didn't, Wayne.
We got a little clutch in it,
Are you
but,
going? Do you want me to register you?
no. We're hauling water and, yeah.
Travis?
The, McLean Mercer County Library, met, last Monday. kind of routine stuff going on there. They're gonna do their, budget, preparations, June 28th, before the next meeting. And then that'll be their meeting date, so I plan to be there for that, go through with the budget process, and then that'll be forwarded on to the county. And then, Water Resource Board will meet next week. And, the fair, board's been kind of bouncing around on their different dates, but I have, talked to Vern and a few other people about what's going on with that, so, they're, all indications are the fair's gonna happen, July 15th through the 18th. They're expecting kind of a banner year, we'll see what happens, but Vern, mentioned that their typical livestock's between 250 and 300 head, they're expecting up to 800, we'll see if that happens.
Holy smokes.
So, their entertainment is booked, and I believe they'll have their, they have their contract for the carnival as well, so, all indications they're a go. That's all I have.
The only one I have is, ambulance board met, and they're still struggling with getting, positions filled. They're pretty short-staffed, and, the other thing, that we worked on was possible, adjustments in the pay for those positions, so that's one thing that they're working on, and they just started working on, their new budget. And one of their biggest concerns is siren, of course, with the radios.
Did you inform them of the $1,500
Yep.
grant they can get back?
Yep,
Is
yep,
that-
we did discuss that.
No, is there a deadline on that grant?
I don't believe so.
Okay, okay. Oh, okay, I heard. That's good. The airport, we met this last month here, and basically, I can inform the board, we are gonna be shut down a little, like maybe 2 months this summer. We are doing a rehab on the runway. That is gonna be a goal. And I don't exactly got the numbers before me, but I will bring them and let you, or bring them to the board here, and so you know what the numbers are. And so we're working on that particular project, and it's long due, and it's gonna be, it'll be nice once it's done. They mill it and grind it right in place there, and then do an overlay, and then they change the runway lights and the wiring that are in there too. And we got a little work on the taxiway, then also in restripe, but, so that's finally a goal. And I guess that's about all I had.
Okay. Well, then, no other business, meeting adjourned.
You're gonna make it for your seating, ain't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure the machine's out in the field already waiting.
Make sure,
Ready to